I'm taking you to the damn place you belong. You're a nobody, Blackie. You're going to regret crossing my path, Sergeant Miller roared. Attacking a woman he didn't know was about to end his career forever. The blare of buses and car horns filled the humid air of Beacon Street in New Haven when a police patrol car screeched to a halt at the curb. From the driver's seat emerged a burly man, his face flushed and his uniform unbuttoned. A pistol hung from his belt. This was Sergeant Miller, infamous in the district for his explosive temper and open contempt for black and poor people. His gaze fell on a woman walking with a calm, even pace, a folder clutched in her hand. Evelyn, a black woman in her early 40s, barely looked up, surprised by the abrupt intrusion. "Hey, Blackie," the officer snarled, his voice raw and grating. "What are you hiding in there? What are you carrying?" Evelyn's brow furrowed slightly. "These are just personal documents, sir. I don't have to." "Shut up," he barked, striding forward. "Always the same with you people. Give me that folder." With a brutal yank, Miller tore the folder from her hands. Papers fluttered like wounded birds, scattering across the pavement. Evelyn gasped, reaching for them, but a violent shove sent her stumbling. Murmurs rippled through the bystanders, yet fear sealed their silence. "Let go of me. Don't touch me." Evelyn struggled, her voice breaking through the chaos. Miller laughed coldly. "Don't touch you? Who do you think you are, queen? To me, you're nothing but another suspicious black woman." He slammed her against the wall with crushing force, handcuffs clinking as he pinned her. "On the ground now." Her cry, "This isn't right," was swallowed by the honking city noise. Still, she locked eyes with him, her defiance refusing to die even as pain twisted her arm. Moments later, the patrol car screeched into the precinct. Miller dragged her by the cuffs like a captured animal. "Walk, trash," he spat, yanking so hard she nearly collapsed. Inside, the station's stale air reeked of sweat and coffee. Two officers looked up. One frowned, but bent his head back to his paperwork. None intervened. Miller flung Evelyn into a metal chair. "Sit." His fist crashed against the desk. "You have no right." The slap silenced her. A brutal, ringing crack across her face. Blood pooled at her lip. "What are you going to demand?" Miller sneered, leaning close. "You demand nothing. You obey. That's how it works here." Tears welled, but Evelyn didn't bow her head. That quiet dignity enraged him. "Still looking at me like that?" He seized her chin, forcing her gaze. "All dressed up, but you'll always be what you are, nothing. A black nobody." A tear slipped free, betraying her resolve. Miller smiled cruelly. "That's it. Cry for me." In the corner, young Officer David clenched his fists. The rookie had been warned about Miller, but seeing it firsthand was unbearable. Finally, he stepped forward. "Sergeant, with all due respect, that's enough. You can't." Miller whirled on him, hand on his pistol. "Excuse me? You telling me how to do my job, rookie?" David swallowed hard, but didn't break eye contact. "I'm saying she doesn't deserve this treatment." The room froze. Miller's laughter was dark, venomous. "Listen, kid, this black woman is mine. Mine. She's my slave until I say otherwise. Got it?" Silence. The other officers buried themselves in their files, cowardice locking their tongues. Evelyn whispered, almost to herself, "My God." Miller leaned close again, voice low and sinister. "And believe me, I'm not done with my toy just yet." He dragged Evelyn down the hall, shoving her into a cold, rusted cell. She fell hard, dress tearing, knees scraping the concrete. The clang of the bar door echoed like a final sentence. "There's your home," Miller sneered. "Like the animal you are." Keys jingled as he left, his shadow retreating into silence. From the darkness, Officer David appeared, trembling but resolute. He glanced down the corridor, making sure Miller was gone. "Ma'am," he whispered through the bars. "I'm so sorry. What he did was wrong. Tell me, how can I help you?" Evelyn lifted her bruised face, lips trembling yet voice steady. "I just need one call. Before that monster comes back, I need one call." David hesitated, fear gnawing at him. If Miller found out, his career would shatter before it began. But Evelyn's eyes held a conviction that rooted him to the spot. "One call? he asked, his voice shaking. To whom? Evelyn's gaze burned with quiet fire. She leaned forward, whispering words that froze David where he stood. Words that carried the weight of secrets, justice, and a storm ready to tear the precinct apart. But before he could respond, heavy footsteps echoed in the hall. Miller was returning. David's fingers shook as he slid his phone through the bars. Please, before he comes back. Evelyn Hayes took it calmly, as if fear had already left her. Dialing a number from memory, her voice shifted into authority. This is Justice Evelyn Hayes. I've been illegally detained at the New Haven precinct. Notify the president of the High Court and the prosecutor's office immediately. David's jaw dropped. Justice Hayes. He had seen her name on the news in historic rulings. The woman beside him was not an ordinary prisoner that on the other end. The answer came swift. Understood, Your Honor. The nation will know within minutes. And it did. Within seconds, David's phone buzzed with alerts. Social media exploded. Judge Evelyn Hayes assaulted, detained by New Haven police. Videos of Sergeant Miller shoving and insulting her spread like wildfire. Outrage ignited. The precinct doors slammed open. Commander Davidson stormed in, prosecutors at his side. Where is that animal? He roared. Miller emerged, grinning. What's the fuss, boss? Davidson's fist crashed against the desk. You fool. That woman isn't some suspicious black woman. She's Justice Evelyn Hayes. Silence froze the room. Miller's face drained. The judge. Davidson pointed, trembling with rage. You've doomed yourself, and maybe this entire department. Outside, the storm grew. Reporters, citizens, activists surrounded the building. Chants thundered. Justice for Hayes. End police racism. Barricades buckled under fists and bottles. Inside, Davidson raged. This isn't about one officer. It's about all of us burning. Sir, an officer whispered, the press demands answers. Minutes later, Davidson stepped outside, cameras blazing. Sweat gleamed on his face. The police will not tolerate abuse of authority. The sergeant involved is detained and will be investigated with full rigor. There will be no impunity. Reporters shouted. Why was she jailed? Why didn't anyone stop it? Was there a cover-up? Davidson's mouth tightened. Every word only deepened the disaster. Then came the sound of keys turning, bars screeching. Evelyn Hayes stepped out, bruised but unbowed. A red mark lingered on her cheek. Her dress was wrinkled. Yet she moved with the dignity of a judge entering her court. Cameras flashed. Reporters screamed. Justice Hayes, were you assaulted? What will you do? She raised a weary hand, and silence fell. Today I was treated like garbage, as if my life had no worth, for the simple fact that I am a black woman. Her voice trembled, yet each word carried the weight of a gavel. The crowd leaned in. Evelyn steadied herself. But I speak not just for myself. I speak for every person humiliated without witnesses or cameras. I was insulted, assaulted, locked away without cause. This is not one officer's mistake. This is a system that allows men in uniform to believe they can treat a black woman as a slave. Gasps spread. Her tears shone in the lights, but her voice never broke. Within hours, Miller was handcuffed and charged with assault and unlawful detention. Davidson, forced by fury, promised reforms, though he knew they were too late. The image of Justice Hayes, bruised but defiant, was already etched into the nation's conscience. By dawn, marches erupted across cities. Banners read, Hayes is justice. We stand with Evelyn. That night, alone in her room, Evelyn pressed ice to her cheek. She had longed only for rest. Instead, her pain had become a spark. Her humiliation had turned into a symbol. She was no longer simply Justice Evelyn Hayes. She was the voice of a reckoning, one that would not be silenced.